Hi there, and welcome to this edition of ACF UP Culinarians Educational. I'm Chris Durley, and I'm joined today with Madeline Mead from the Courtyards. Today, Maddie's going to show us how to process a chaga mushroom. So without further ado, let's process some mushrooms.
This is a chaga mushroom. It can be found on yellow and paper birch trees, which are all around in the UP. Once you start recognizing it, you'll see it a lot. The main difference between chaga and birch gnarl is that chaga has this burnt orange throughout and in the interior of the mushroom itself, whereas a birch gnarl would look like a birch tree on the inside. It has a rough outer edge, but it should separate from the tree easily. You can use a stick to poke it, you can use a knife to try to cut down the side, but one of the main things you want to do when you pull it off is pull any kind of birch bark that may still be attached. This is a pretty old and dried up piece that I found a while ago, but I initially took off the birch bark, and now what I would do to clean it. In order to clean a piece of chaga, initially when you first pull it off the tree, you want to make sure you get any birch bark attached to it torn off. Super easy, it should just come off. Then after that, you'll take a paintbrush and just brush the dust off. Brush any dirt, dust, and any other organic materials, bugs, what have you, off of the mushroom itself. And this takes some time. It's a rough surface, so it holds a lot. Once you've cleaned your mushroom, brushed it, we're gonna start processing it for drying. This is the hardest part. Chaga, regardless of age, is hard to break up, but the older it is and the less moisture content in it, the harder it is to break up, so you really want to break it the second you get it. This is a little older, so let's see how it goes.
Now, is a screwdriver and mallet the best tool to use, or do they make tools specifically for this process?
They may make tools for this process, but I've found as a Youper, you're pretty resourceful, and a Phillips head screwdriver and a rubber mallet is essentially all you need to break up this chaga. And here's that bright orange color I was telling you about earlier that you'll see. It's unmistakable in chaga. That's how you know you've got real chaga and not just some birch gnarl. So that's a great color there. And just continue breaking this up. You want to find any weak points or cracks for efficiency's sake. And you're just going to keep going until you've got almost bite-sized chunks, although you're not going to be eating these. All right, so once you've broken your chaga into pieces about this size, you can either just lay them out flat in a cool, dry place, possibly with sun, for them to finish drying up. It doesn't take much, but for me, I'm impatient, so I'll just pop it in my dehydrator for about 15 minutes, and then you've got these perfect pieces ready to go into the food processor, coffee grinder, Ninja, whatever you've got that can really bust some stuff up.
So I know dehydrators come with different settings, some high, some low, some degrees. Is there a difference on what you should use depending on the size of chunks you have, or is it pretty universal on how you dehydrate them?
It's fairly universal. I usually do a lower temperature just because I'm not really trying to bring any extra elements into the mushroom itself. It doesn't really affect it that much, but essentially we're just getting rid of the water content inside the mushroom itself. Doesn't take too much, and your light setting for about 15 minutes should do it. Chaga is very easy to store once dehydrated, though the dehydration part is important to avoid rot. Once it is dry, you can just put the chunk straight into a mason jar like this. You don't even have to seal it. It's fine. If you're looking to put it directly into teas, tinctures, what have you, then I would direct you towards a food processor, Ninja, coffee grinder, whatever you have that can really shred some hard material up. And so you're gonna grind it to a powder, at what point you decide whether to use it in a tea, in a soup stock, in a tincture, and that all just really depends on what you want from the chaga.
So now tell me, what is chaga good for? I mean, there's so many different mushrooms out there. What does chaga go well with?
Chaga goes really well with cordyceps, lion's mane, turkey tail, and other neuroregenerative mushroom breeds. So these are mushrooms that help your body adapt and regenerate cells. They help you fight off illnesses. Chaga is really good for your immune system. So with COVID-19 and with flu season coming, it's really important to try to get any kind of immuno boosters you can, and chaga is a great source of that.